When it comes to parenting, especially with teenagers, it often feels like you're caught between two very different ideas. You've got strictness on one side and respect on the other. And today, that's exactly the debate we're going to dive into. So, let me just ask you, right off the bat, what do you think is the most powerful tool you have in your toolkit for raising a teenager? Is it about laying down the law? Or maybe it's all about love and affection? Or is it something else entirely? Just hang on to that question as we get into a story that really tries to answer it.
All right, so let's set the scene. We're at a school meeting, but this wasn't your typical casual parent-teacher chat. Nope, this was a formal interaction, as they called it. You had parents sitting all around this long table just waiting to hear from the expert.
And right there at the head of that table was the school principal. She positioned herself as the final word, the ultimate authority in the room. She was there to give the answers. The whole thing was set up to be a lecture, definitely not a conversation.
So, what was this principal like? Well, the person telling the story describes her as someone who saw herself as the final expert on pretty much everything. And that kind of confidence, when you mix it with a serious lack of humor, made her, well, difficult to get along with. I think you can probably picture the exact kind of authority figure we're talking about here. So all the parents are there, they're settled in, and the principal kicks things off. She starts her big talk on her definitive guide to raising teenagers. And this is where we get to the heart of what she really believed.
And what was her number one topic? It wasn't about connecting with your kids. It wasn't about understanding them. No, it was all about discipline. And not just discipline, but how to enforce it. To her, the rules were everything, the uppermost and most important thing.
And here it is, the big takeaway. After a really long speech, her entire philosophy, the whole thing, boiled down to one simple command: be strict. That was it. That was her one-size-fits-all answer. The secret to parenting teenagers was to just lay down the law and enforce it, period.
It's definitely simple advice, I'll give her that. It's powerful, but it really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Is that the whole picture? Is just being strict really the only way, the best way, to guide a teenager through these years? Well, just as that idea was kind of hanging in the air, something pretty unexpected happened. One of the parents, who had been listening this whole time, decided that just couldn't be the last word on the subject.
And this was the moment everything shifted. The narrator of our story decided to speak up, to interrupt the expert. And it wasn't about starting a fight. It came from this really deep gut feeling that a massive piece of the puzzle was just completely missing from the conversation.
And here was the alternative. Instead of demanding that your kid obeys you through strictness, the narrator suggested a totally different goal. You have to earn your child's respect. You don't get to demand it. You can't just expect it because you're the parent. You have to earn it.
This right here just lays out the two worldviews perfectly. You can see it side by side. On one hand, you have the principal's method: enforce, demand, be strict. It's all very top-down, right? A command and control kind of thing. But then you look at the other side, the narrator's method: earn, inspire, be patient. That's all about building a relationship, a foundation, not just putting up walls.
So, why is respect so important? Why focus on that? Well, the narrator's logic is really fascinating. They basically say that love is a given. It's the starting point. But, when you're a teenager, the world is full of distractions, and sometimes love alone just isn't enough to keep things on track. Respect, though, that's the game changer. Because as they put it, we all try a lot harder not to disappoint someone we truly, genuinely respect.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? What does this idea of earning respect even look like in the real world? Let's break down the practical side of this idea.
First thing you need to know, this isn't the easy way out. It's described as a difficult task. It requires you to consciously make an effort, and it means being willing to make personal sacrifices, giving up things that might matter a lot to you for the sake of building that respect. It's a real choice, and sometimes it's a hard one.
So, how do you turn this idea into an actual strategy? Well, it boils down to three key things. Number one, be patient. Number two, really spend time with them. And number three, be willing to make those sacrifices we just talked about. But of all those things, one of them is absolutely, without a doubt, the most important. And that's patience. The source literally calls it the foremost requirement. It's the foundation of the entire thing. Without patience, the time you spend, the sacrifices you make, they're not going to land the right way. It all has to start with patience. And that brings us right back to the heart of this whole debate. We've looked at two very, very different ways of doing things. One is built on strict rules and making sure they're followed. The other is built on earning respect. So we'll leave you with this to think about. If love is the given, the thing that's there from the start between a parent and a child, is respect the thing that truly has to be won,